All right, we're live. G'day, fellas. I'm Mick Solomons, the developer of the Starting Strength app, and alongside me, Starting Strength coach Alex Koseri,
How's it going, guys?
and Wichita Falls club coach Rusty Holcomb.
Yeah,
I like your
Very
new
cool
background, buddy.
Rusty.
Yeah.
discovered this and I'm excited about it.
You got the biggest smile on your face when you did that. So, online coaching, Alex, where can people get in touch with you if they want to get some coaching?
You can find me trolling around on the subreddit at some point. You can definitely message me there. It's just my name. We'll throw a link in the description to my website if you are looking for online coaching. I work with a lot of athletes, so powerlifters, a few weightlifters, rock climbers, Ironman guys, and a lot of martial artists. And definitely, I think around like 10 to 15 general population people too. So if you have any questions, just let me know, or if you just want to argue about programming. I actually did have someone take me up on that offer. There's some guy on the Reddit going through like my 6-month-old posts to tell me that I'm wrong.
Oh,
He'll just pop in and just be like, God, you're so stupid. You're totally wrong about that. So do that. That's fun. That's a fun take.
Who's why are they arguing with you about? Well, they just.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Apparently, I don't know what Steph loading is. And I checked him out, and he posts on the World of Warcraft subreddit, and now just the Starting Strength subreddit. So do with that information what you will. But it seems like
what it is.
Those are the two most important things that we have, basically. So he knows what's up.
Well, hopefully you don't find out that's my multi account. I'm going to get this fucking Alex guy.
Yeah. It's telling everybody to bodybuild. It's wrong.
All right, let's rip into it. Hey, we've got our first ad. Someone's decided to sponsor this our small little video. So we're taking a look at product placement. Is the video name.
So are me and Alex going to get some kickbacks on that?
Sure. It's in the mail.
This is actually me in some of the footage right now. So
17 cents.
So yeah, we're watching the product placement video. The Kensui Easy Vest.
Oh man, nice.
It's definitely not easy. I don't think. I don't know if I would call this easy at all.
It's using Spinlock technology though, Alex. Spinlock.
Mm-hmm. No, it's very, very cool. Very, very cool.
Easy to wear.
Yeah.
I just want to.
You can get as lean as that guy.
I'm just pausing the video at when the guy's actually trying to pick up the thing off the ground, and his back is. I don't know what that shape is. It's definitely not. It's definitely not flat. I wouldn't call that a flat back.
Yeah, it's interesting because like he was on the assault bike with it for some reason. You're sitting down just with more weight on your chest. But I think I've actually tried to use one of these at Pitt.
Of course you have.
Or my college, excuse me. There was like a proprietary version of these things. They're terrible. If you're using over 90 pounds for anything, it is a slugfest. You have to like stand there in this pose and your friends have to load it on you, or you just have to curl 90 pounds over your head and then have it like swing and hit you. It's not fun at all. It is not fun at all.
Well, I guess it's probably the last time these guys are going to sponsor us after that glowing endorsement.
Yeah, sorry, boys.
It's an excellent product.
But it's honest though. It's honest.
It's honest. Yeah, true. It's true. Comment from Travis Reed. G'day, fellas. Hope you had a good weekend. It appears Rusty is still enjoying his. What are you drinking, mate?
I am drinking the Puffbrow. It's delicious.
It's disappearing.
It's disappearing through your background.
Is it there?
Yeah, there you go.
Much prettier than that. Yeah.
I think I've actually got a carton of those in the pantry. I don't drink a lot, but someone left them. All right, keep plugging away. What was next? Oh, what went wrong? Okay. Yep, we've got another what went wrong video. I wonder if you guys can guess what's going to happen here just as I'm playing the video.
I haven't seen this.
What do you think's going to happen?
I think everything's going to go really well.
I think I know where this is going.
Oh, no. Oh, man.
Time be good.
Rest in peace, that guy. Rest in peace.
I like the fact that the other guy who was sort of setting up his plates on the other platform just kind of kept. He still loaded his 45 on while the guy was on the ground writhing in pain. He's like, he keeps moving and he's looking, and he still loads the
can't
plate on the
undo
he
that,
still
I
loads the
guess.
plate on the bar before he goes over to offer some
God
assistance.
damn.
There's one of those viral videos of a guy. I think he was on a fly machine, and there's a girl trying to do some influencer crap, some booty building, and she ended up like flipping an entire machine. He was doing his flies. He sees it and just keeps doing his flies. She's like laying on the ground with this machine on top of her.
Mhm.
Fantastic.
That's the bodybuilding lifestyle. That's the dedication that you need to have.
You can't sacrifice your pump to save the
No.
ladies.
Absolutely not.
No.
And this is why belt squatting isn't in the blue book, by the way. So if you're wondering why Rip didn't put the belt squat in there, it's because people would do silly things like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that would require a lot of ice. That dude was probably out of action for a couple of weeks. I mean, that's a 45-pound bar right in the balls.
I'm sure.
Yeah. All right, so let's get on to some actual form checks now. Austin Murphy Park. His squat.
I like the headband. Respect to start.
There we go. Back to Austin. Yep.
This is an interesting. I can't tell.
First
Are
off-
his hands out to the farthest that they can get?
I mean,
His
that
hands.
Is that just the short? Is that just as small as the barbell is, basically?
I think it's just a short barbell. Yeah, that's just a really short barbell.
Yeah.
So the hands don't bother me. He's too wide for one. He's way too wide. I would definitely bring the stance in and a little more hip drive out of the bottom. You're driving your chest. So as soon as you hit the bottom, you need to think about keeping your chest pointed down as you drive your hips. Pull your knees back and push your hips up while keeping your chest down. You also need to kind of quit cranking your head up. And other than that, these aren't too horrible. Fix those two things, the width and the hip drive, and I think these won't be too bad.
Yeah. This is a good start. So logistically, if you just slide those plates out farther to the end, because it seems like you have a decent bit of width still left on the bar, you'll be able to get your hands out to like a more practical spot. So do that to start. It seems like you still have 5 or 6 inches there. And then I think fixing the head angle will fix the hip drive issue for you. If you can kind of get your head down. Honestly, I would just kind of look at the crossbar of that squat rack itself. And then outside of that, when you narrow your stance up, you're going to have to lean over more. You're going to make your femurs a little bit longer. So prepare yourself for that. As you move the stance in, you're going to have to pay attention and really focus on trying to pitch your chest forward into it. But otherwise, I think these are a good start.
Yeah. You might also want to start considering slowly upgrading your weight set. You will slowly start being limited by your equipment. So I would start looking into getting a good bar. Weights are very hard to come by right now, but keep an eye open. Start upgrading.
he's got an easy curl bar on the floor there. I thought that would have been enough.
For the important things, yes.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
For the
that's Alex's territory.
For the accessory work like the squat, I don't think it's sufficient enough.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Austin. Next up, we have Cole Muth. Cole's back. He's got a bench video this time. He did mention something about he goes, sorry that there was no one in the background he could make fun of this time, but he can make fun of my lentil burger t-shirt or something, or lentil festival t-shirt.
Lentil Festival.
Yeah.
Nice. A lot of porta potties at that festival.
I think Rip was the guest speaker at that festival, wasn't he?
You want to start this,
stop.
Alex, or you want me?
Yeah, stop watching powerlifters bench. You do not need to pick your head up. So you'll see like a lot of like super heavies or even just like incredibly jacked guys kind of rotate. They will roll themselves down onto their mid back and their head will come up as an artifact of that. You don't need to do it intentionally. It's not really helping you. Aim your nose at the top rear crossbar of the rack and then just push your head into the bench. You don't need to like do a full bridge. But what that's going to do for most people, it will start to set the bar path backwards over the shoulder a little bit faster. You're kind of just pressing these straight up off of your chest and doing basically like a front raise at the top. It doesn't seem like much of a problem now. This still seems pretty light for you, kind of like a warm-up weight. But once you get another, 50, 60 pounds of the bar, it'll probably make a difference. So fix your head position, stop moving it around, and then that seems to be it. I think the grip is fine on these. What do you think, Rusty?
Grip fine. I agree with everything you said. I think he is touching way, way too low. He is like touching right below his solar plexus. It looks like. You need to aim for right below your nipple line, and start there. Now that can vary between people, but I feel like you're creating a really long moment arm by bringing that bar way, way down. You need to be touching right at your nipple line. So I would fix that, but other than that, I agree with everything Alex said.
Yeah. Note that if you keep your current grip configuration and you do touch higher, your elbows are going to have to go out more. So you may want to consider widening your grip up if you move your touch point up. But try them both. See what feels better. Feeling things is important. So.
Oh man.
And we'll just move on. No extra comments on that one, I don't think.
So Austin Murphy Park, the guy from the first video, just left a comment, said, "Thanks guys. Very limited with the equipment I have access to right now since the gyms have been closed for 4 months and counting. I'm lucky to have a friend with some basic equipment in his garage." There you go.
Hey Austin, you're doing a great job with the equipment that you have. So I mean, don't take that to heart or anything. But if you do have to continue lifting in your garage, just keep an eye out for some better equipment.
Yep. That's the way. Dave Brown. I don't know what this video is. Oh, there we go. Maybe squatting.
Setup looks good.
I'm just starting rep 1, so if you're ahead of me, Rusty, go for it.
Yeah, you're into your knees a little bit too much. Don't think about pushing them forward as much as pushing them out and then reaching back with your hips in the beginning. You want to start the squat by bending over. It looks like you're trying to keep your chest elevated and then pushing your knees forward to get depth. Bend over a little more, reach back with your hips, and then drive your hips out of the bottom. Other than that, these look pretty good to me.
I have a few more adjustments than that. First, I'm nitpicky about people's walkouts because eventually it turns into a big deal. So that was a hell of a long walkout. You do not need to go that far. Get some safety bars if you can. If you don't have like metal safety bars, if you can't find them right now, just get some sawhorses. They'll help you better than nothing will, basically. Especially with low bar, it's pretty hard to bail backwards out of a low bar squat. I think the stance could stand to be a little bit wider, just a touch, maybe like 1.5 inches, 2 inches on each foot. I think that would help out a lot. Your forehead, aim your forehead at the intersection between the wall and the floor the entire time. Just stick your forehead down there because right now you're kind of picking it up and then leading with your chest on most of these reps. But the changes that Rusty said, fix your walkout, get some safeties, keep your head down.
Yep. Thanks, Dave.
With the walkout, let me add something. With the walkout, I see that a lot with my kids where they want to go back to the very back of the platform, and that is a definite safety hazard. I have to tell them all the time, like, what if you have to rack it real quick? Now you're running to the rack. So one good step out is good. So yeah, I agree.
Rusty, do you have anybody who squats inside of those thinner racks? Do you have a lot?
The thin racks? No. I don't have anybody ever squatting in those. Normally, I mean, we only have, I think, 4 of the short racks, the shallow racks, and nobody really ever squats inside of those. I mean, it would be really hard to. You just don't have a lot of room to move, and you're worried about the plates cracking against them. But we have so many of the deep racks now that it's never really an issue to find a rack.
Cool. I squatted inside one of the narrow ones once. It felt very cozy. I felt very secure. No matter what, I was protected.
Yeah, it's really easy to start banging the weights against those. Just on even if you have a really good normal walkout, it's really easy to start tapping those, and that can get real distracting with heavy weight.
Yep. Okay. Another comment. Travis Reed. I think this is talking about what we were talking about feelings before. He just said, "I'm just hearing Rip's voice saying fuck your feelings."
Yeah, that's kind of my opinion about that.
about everything.
About everything.
Yeah.
This is a child-friendly podcast, so please.
Oh, sorry.
Monitor your language.
Yeah. I think that's going to be
half of our audience is first responders. The other half is children under the age of 10.
Children.
So, yeah.
I think that's going to be the title of your book, Rusty. In 20 years' time, after you've
Fuck
taken
your
over
feelings.
this, yeah, or maybe Rip's book.
Fuck your child's feelings.
I'm glad you added that last word.
Yeah.
Well, we're just off the air now. So we've got Elle, her deadlift. So we've had Elle on a few times now. She's coming along pretty well.
Yeah, he's already looked pretty decent.
Oh, she's got like she's got crash pads and a
Yeah,
platform going. Wow, she's
platform is interesting. She gets an A+.
I
for
really
platform.
like it. Really like the platform.
She must be.
I've been trying to find those quiet pads for the deadlift. They seem hard to find.
She's got great equipment. I'm impressed with her equipment.
And
as
a
far as the
barbell
deadlift-
t-shirt. I don't know if you saw that. She has the t-shirt too now. So that's an important part of the gear.
So a couple things I can see with this. I would definitely bring your stance in. You have your feet out real far. When I see people setting their feet out too far, what ends up happening is their knees and their arms are competing for that space. If you bring your feet in a lot closer than you want them to be, it's going to feel real weird, but you got to get them pretty close together. Then you can push with your at top of your deadlift. The ones that you are locking your chest out, you're rolling your shoulders a bit. Quit rolling your shoulders. Just think about pointing the bottom of your sternum up in the top of the deadlift, and pinching your shoulder blades back and down. That will have a much better lockout. Other than that, I think these are pretty good. What do you think, Alex?
Move the stance in. Rep 1 was the best rep out of all of them. You paid more attention to getting your thoracic spine into extension. So again, think about taking your sternum and pushing it up to the wall in front of you every rep. I would think about that more than setting your lower back. Your lower back extension is totally fine right now. Just make sure to not skip that step with your chest, and I think you should sort out the rest of the problems. But I can't hear it, but I think you may be letting out your brace a little bit at the top. Make sure that you are holding your brace. Could be wrong, but make sure that you are.
One more thing, your gaze. Your gaze is moving the entire time you're going. By the time you stand up, you're looking straight ahead when you start looking down. So just lock on something, about 7 feet away from you and keep your eyes there while your head stays neutral. So, good job.
I have a lot of lifters. If I'm just coaching them in person, totally fine. They'll be able to do it. If I put a camera on to be like, all right, we're going to record this set so you can look at it later, every time they'll look at the camera 3 times, a little bit nervous. They'll be like, ugh. So that could be it.
Yeah, it probably is.
All right, good work, Elle. Very impressive setup as well. She's smashing it. Yep. Joe Pescato press. And I'm pretty excited. We've got a power clean video for Joe that's going to come up next week. I'm pretty excited by that one. We don't get many power cleans.
You want to take the lead on this one, Alex?
I think you are trying to create the bounce by pulling the bar down into your chest, by sinking your hands down. I want your armpits and your chest to be as tight as possible. So think about pulling your arm in from out here, in here as tight as you can. Squeeze your hand as you're doing it. It shouldn't be that loose. There shouldn't be that much sink to it. The bar should go down as your shoulders move, not after they move. So it shouldn't be the shoulders move back and then your hands move down. It should move as one unit. So that the whole upper back area needs to be a little bit tighter. And then when you're coming out of the bounce, I want you to think about, throwing your chest back into the movement. So not your head, because a lot of times people will just move their neck and leave their chest behind. But I think with that should be okay. The bounce is more or less, totally serviceable for these. But what is this, 145 on the bar? So it's pretty good.
Mm.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think everything looks pretty good other than that.
All right. Good stuff. Thanks, Joe. I think we've got another video from Joe. Yeah, we got his squat, I think. 310.
Tight angles.
Yeah.
A small room. I don't think we've had Joe on before.
Let's see. I'm thinking your depth is lacking just a little bit. I would reach back a little bit harder with your hips and get that extra, half an inch to an inch. It seems like as the set goes on, that very last rep was high. So I would fix your depth. Your knees are stopping, which is good. You're sitting your hips back, sit them back a little bit more and help you hit that depth. Your elbows are really cranked up high. I would get your elbows down just a little bit. Having them that cranked could start to aggravate your shoulders and your elbows. I used to do this a lot, and what ends up happening is whenever I crank my elbows real hard, I end up trying to pull that bar down, and I get really bad elbow tendonitis from it. So I would reach back with your hips and then drive your hips straight up. Don't try and drive your chest. Keep in your hips. Stay bent over on the way up.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think that your knees may actually be coming in. It's hard to tell from this angle, but just kind of from like the shading and distance, I think that's more of a depth problem. Shove your knees out harder. And I think mental confidence would help a lot. From when I can see your face, you are wincing going into the movement. So make sure you're not killing yourself by trying to grind through too many times per week. Make sure that your programming is smart. What I like to tell all of my lifters for all of their lifts is to make it look as easy as possible. Approach it with confidence, make it look easy, and a lot of the times you're going to have a better mental time with the whole thing. It doesn't seem like there's anything wrong with you or wonky with your mechanics that you can't get an extra 2 inches of depth out of these. Just be more confident. Trust your hips; they will shift back and down a little bit. It's totally fine. It's exactly what you want. But otherwise, keep working on getting your upper back a little bit tighter. The bar could be a little bit high. We can't really tell from here. That could be why you're having to crank your elbows up to create a better shelf. But again, think about squeezing your chest up, pulling your elbow down, making this whole back as tight as you can, and you should be fine.
I've never heard anyone comment about grimacing before as being an issue. I mean, I grimace on every single rep of every single set. Like even warming up with a bar on a squat, I'm grimacing. Like it just happens.
Into the gym.
Yeah, I grimace generally in
Waking
life.
up in the morning, seeing yourself in the mirror.
Well, I have this thing where I used to work in a company, and people used to, when I came to having my review with my boss, he said to me, "People are scared to talk to you." I was like, what? I go, you just look like you're angry all the time.
What's funny is when I worked at an office job where I was in a little cubicle, I was the same way. It would be in the middle of summer. I would walk in the building and put my hoodie on, put my hoodie up, and I would sit down and just glare at everybody that walked by. I didn't want to talk to people.
Did you get that?
And
then you met Rip. Then you met Rip. You guys were birds of a feather.
Yeah, right.
All right. Okay, so stop grimacing. That's the
Pretend it's easy. I think that's the takeaway. Pretend it's easy.
Right. Good stuff. All right. Thanks, Joe. Jordan Fraughton, bench. Oh, yeah, I've had Jordan on before as well.
Yeah, big deadlifter last time.
He's getting give me his gym a free plug as well.
Mm-hmm.
Has he got really?
You taking this or am I?
I'll take this.
Right.
Yeah, this is totally fine. I think you could utilize more of a big man's leg drive. The closest attempt to it was on your last rep. Right now, you're kind of just jolting your stomach up into the air with a little bit of pop with your legs. Thinking about kicking the floor away from you is the exact frame that you decide to start your pressing motion, and think about everything going backwards. Your goal with this sort of weight and how short you've made the range of motion is to get the bar back over your shoulder as fast as possible. It may sound weird, but play around with a lower touch point. A lot of people, if you can actually get that touch point to be higher, but a little bit lower, if you just use your belly, your power belly to your advantage, you can actually make the mechanics a little bit easier. But you're focusing a lot of up right off your chest. Think about focusing back off the chest. Otherwise, keep adding some weight. This didn't seem too bad. A little bit of a misgroove on the last rep, but otherwise really good.
Yeah, my aside from what Alex says, because I agree with it, my big thing is your pause. I don't know if you're intentionally trying to do a pause bench. If you are, then great. But if you're not trying to do a pause bench, as soon as you touch your chest, you need to think about exploding that bar up as fast as possible. But again, if you're doing a pause on purpose, good job.
That would be crazy if it was an accident and then he just throws 60 pounds on. He's like, oh, I didn't have to pause.
Yeah, if it is one of those things where he doesn't realize he's doing it, he could add a whole bunch more weight on that bar.
That would be very cool. I would love that.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's the case, Jordan.
I'm still giggling about power bellies. Is that what are your thoughts
Is
on?
that the first time you've heard of that?
Well, it is, but for some reason I seem to think that that's fairly common at Wichita Falls Athletic Club.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, one hell of a 275. That's it.
All right, Jordan, thanks for that. Joshua Roberts squat.
He's in some deserts for these. That's cool.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah. Okay.
Rusty, do those look like sweatbands on his wrist or very tiny wrist wraps?
They look like sweatbands.
Mick, you have a vote on this?
Yeah, I can't see anything over his thumb, so I'm going to go with sweatbands as well.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it's sweatbands.
Cool move. I like it.
Josh, this is definitely lightweight for you. You can definitely put more weight on that bar. The biggest problem that I'm seeing with these is you're not bending over. At the very beginning, you need to think about pushing your hips back and pushing your chest straight to the floor. Your knees are going way too far over your toes. You need to stop your knees and reach back with your hips. Use that leverage to be able to do more hip drive and put more weight on that bar. This is super light. Learn how to use your hips, and you will be astonished about how much more weight you could put on the bar.
Yeah. Pull your head back over your shoulders. You're kind of punching it forward for no reason. So proud posture, get your head back over your shoulders. And I don't think this needs too much coaching. Use a Tubo, terribly useful block of wood. There's a bunch of articles and videos about it. Track down one of those, use it. And I think that would solve almost all of the problems, within 1 or 2 sessions. And, the goal for that is just to get your knees in the right position and your hips will take care of the rest. So, and also if you're on your LP right now, I would take a 20-pound jump next session and then shift to 10s from then on. So,
yeah, it's definitely lightweight. Definitely.
Yep.
Rightio. Thanks, Joshua. Matthew Beasley. I don't know what this is. Oh, another squat video. Oh, geez. That unrack did not look good.
Those are some tight shoulders.
Yeah. Is that bar a bit low as well, do you think? Is it about right?
Kind of. The bar's a little bit low, and it's just a very soft back. Very
that's. I don't think the bar is low. I just think he's not squeezing his back enough. And you can actually see in the bottom of the squat, his shoulders are actually coming undone a little bit. He's actually bringing his shoulders forward, which is not helping anything. So he definitely has to fix that that back. That would be priority number one if I was coaching him in person.
Yeah. So McCann, I think you may have the image, Matt, in your head that some of the weight is supposed to be held by your hands. Ideally, you're not routing any sort of compressive weight into your hand going down. It's a clasp that is locking the bar onto your back. So what you need to be thinking about is pushing your chest in front of you and pulling your shoulders behind you. Just do it with one shoulder at a time and then reach back and feel it. The whole shape of your back will change. You can pick your arm up and then you'll see that like a little shelf gets created for the bar. That's what you're trying to put it on. Right now, you're kind of just like turtling under it, holding all of the weight into your wrists. It's going to feel significantly harder than it needs to. But I think these were actually to depth from the angle that I saw. Hip drive was there just kind of as an artifact of how difficult these were. I would pull your heels in just a little bit, fix your back, and then go from there.
I'm thinking that they got higher as the set went on. He definitely needs to point his toes out more. Get your knees out too, because your knees are pretty much punching straight ahead. Mm-hmm. Take the weight down a little bit, especially because you don't know how to get really hard underneath the bar. Your walkout and your rack is really, really janky. So take a little bit of weight on the bar, learn how to get a lot tighter, and lock your back and keep your chest up as you bend over. I know those sound like they are conflicting with each other, but you can squeeze your chest up and then bend over with that. So you just basically need to get a whole lot tighter.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys want to address the walk in and walk out as well?
I think that's a function of just how unstable the position is going to be. You'll
Exactly.
be able to fix that once you fix the back.
Yeah.
I would move the pins down one maybe, but I don't know if it's actually necessary or not. But you'll be able to sort that out.
Well,
You'll be
he
able to sort that out.
nearly missed.
Yeah.
He nearly missed the hook on the walk in. The walk.
Yeah.
The walk back.
If you see people who get if they're holding the weight in their hands, they'll start here, and then by the end of the set, it's almost always like in 3 inches south.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
That, and also make sure you are centered on that bar. That bar is to the left, and even an inch or two, if that bar is shifting to the left, if you unrack it unevenly, that puts a lot more force on that side. So pay attention to that as well.
Yep. And that is an impressive sweat stain he's got going there, Alex. He
Mhm.
means he's working hard, right?
he's coming off some conditioning work. Yeah.
Yeah. You got excited. Thanks, Matthew. Melanie Sitnik. She told me how to pronounce it, and I've already forgotten. I'm sorry, Melanie. We're looking at her first squat video. She was doing tubo the last time we saw her.
I think these are looking better.
Yeah, I just finished rep 1, so if you're ahead, go for
Yeah,
it.
I'm up. Yeah, no, I'm on rep 2 as well. I think these are looking a hell of a lot better. You're starting by pointing your chest down. Your knees are stopping, which is fantastic. You might be holding your knees back a little too much now. Just get them forward just a little bit more. But for the most part, I think these are pretty damn good. Started getting hard towards the end. That's fine. I got one more rep.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, you're
I
holding your knees back too much now.
Yeah.
So you're holding them back, and then at the very bottom, they're kicking to the spot that they need to be. So you need to get your knees there and then stop them. Don't hold them back too long and then let them punch forward in the bottom, okay? But I think these are looking better.
There's a second video as well from the front. If you guys have.
Oh, we got a
Okay.
second video from Melanie.
Yeah, it's the same. It's a
Okay.
squat from the front view. That's if you want to show someone knees out, this is it.
Yeah, no, these are great.
Wow. That is
fantastic.
fantastic. Knees out.
Yeah.
From the side, it looks like you're leading with your head a little bit. You're thinking of punching it down to the ground to start the movement. Think about, fighting, pulling that up a little bit. Your head position is going to dictate your upper back and your chest position for the most part. So if you're letting it push forward, a lot of times you're going to round, maybe not at this weight, it's still pretty light for you, but eventually it probably will happen. So think, head back over your shoulders, like pretty princess neck. Shove your sternum up like this, and then I think the rest of it should sort itself out. All the stuff that Rusty said on the first video too. So
Did you just say pretty princess neck?
yeah, pretty princess neck. You sit your neck up like this. People know how to do it, Russ. Trust me.
Are you involved in
When I
beauty
use that-
pageants or something? Are you coaching?
That is the first I've ever heard of a pretty princess neck. That's interesting.
I started using that on male clients, and the first time I used it on a female client, she was like, "What?" And I was like, "All the guys know what I'm talking about as soon as I use this."
I've never heard that
You should,
before.
of all people, know this one. But yeah, don't be hunchy. Just like think about having a nice long neck, and then it should sort itself out.
Okay. So I think Matthew Beasley from before with the sweat stain said, "Thanks for the info. Love to hear more about how to tighten the back."
Identifying thoracic extension in the squat.
Yeah.
Google that.
Oh.
Starting strength is going to show up. That's your article.
Read the book.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's another good option.
as a quick, as a quick tip, just think about if you are trying to hold a pencil between your shoulder blades and squeezing the bottom of your sternum up and getting nice, big, and tall posture. Think pretty princess posture the whole time.
There you go.
And
Hey.
but you got to keep squeezing that back the entire time. You got to keep pulling your shoulder blades together, back and down, and that will tighten that quite a bit. But you need to read those articles for sure.
All right. Thanks, Matt. Thanks for the comment. Peter Velchev. We've got two videos for him. One's a warm-up, the other one's a work set. So let's take a look.
Go work set first, or
You want-
are you going warm up first?
I'm looking at the warm-up at the moment. He sent an email. I'll read the comments. He just said, "Thick thighs boy here again. Thanks for the feedback on the squat a couple of weeks ago. This time I have a deadlift for you below is my first warm-up set as well as a work set. I think I just had a bad session regarding setting my thoracic back and just generally getting tight. Not being able to get in a good position got to my head, and I had to take a pause between reps 4 and 5.
The warm-ups aren't loading up for me, so I'm gonna have to skip the warm-ups for some reason.
All right.
Yeah, they're totally fine. They look like deadlifts.
Okay.
It's, yeah, warm-ups, especially at this weight for how strong of a guy you are, they can be inconsistent on their own. A lot of times when you're gauging people's warm-ups, look at the intention rather than the result. Because if the weight's light enough and they're oversetting their back or something, you'll see a wonky bar path. And if you're just looking at the bar path, then you can think something's awry when it's actually not. So
I'm looking at the work
warm-ups
set
take a
videos
little bit
now.
of a finer eye.
Yeah. I am watching the work set. The work set started getting hard towards the end. I think your low back is set pretty decently. Now you need to think about your upper back and your chest. You're fighting really, really hard to get that lockout position, and it looks like you're hitching a little bit because of it. If you set your upper back tighter in the bottom, then you have less work to do up top. Do not hitch the bar. You're not even thinking about it, but you're kind of jerking on that bar to get it up. Just think about nonstop pushing the floor away and squeezing your chest up the entire time. You want it to be smooth the whole way up. You don't want to start getting in the habit of hitching weights, because when you develop that habit on heavy weights, it doesn't go away easy.
Mm-hmm. So you're fighting your head position on this one. It's very hard to squeeze your chest up if you are looking that far down in front of you. Right now, you're probably looking 5 or 6 feet, maybe I would say 4 or 5 feet actually in front of you. Make that 12 to 15. Move your head out a little bit. Think about making your neck long, and then giving your chest space to push up. Think about making your spine as long as possible at the top. And I really appreciate the video editing for the setup, the speed up there. That was very kind of you. The resets, that we didn't have to sit through that. But otherwise, I think these are pretty strong. And Rusty is right. Like if you ingrain the habit of hitching, it is a very hard one to undo. So try not to make it happen.
Yeah.
Try harder.
Or do strongman. Another second
strongman.
option.
They don't give a shit. Yeah.
They don't give a shit. Yeah. Then you just do you.
Yep. Thanks, Peter. Melanie from the last video left a comment. I will continue to work on those knees. First, I've heard of the pretty princess neck too. Laughing emojicon.
Hey man. What can I say?
You come from a different world, Alex. I think.
Yeah. I'm a Yankee, the Northeast. So
this is where they have
all
all the
princesses up here.
They have all the beauty pageants.
She also corrected you on how to say the name.
She did.
Sitnik.
Sitnik. Righto. I will get that right next week. No worries. Thanks for the comment, Melanie. Next, we have Robert Biley. Press. Oh, this guy again. Here we go. All right, we're going to get to see his whole setup as well. Hey.
Fantastic.
This one's only 49 seconds, so I think this one's pretty good. I'm going to start by saying I think the grip's going to be wide. He hasn't taken it out of the rack yet, but I'm pretty sure the grip.
Very wide. Yeah, it's very wide. I just fast forward through the reps. What is the name? Robert, you're push pressing this. You're doing more of a push press than a bounce and a press. You're literally just dipping under it and then pushing with everything. You need to get your hands in tighter. Lock your knees. Your hips go forward a little bit, and that creates the back angle so you can drive the bar straight up. You are pushing your knees all the way forward, and then whenever you start driving the bar, you pull your knees back really hard, which is actually contributing to the bar speed. So be a little more strict with these. Take the weight down a little bit, get your hands in tighter, and squeeze your elbows in. You want completely vertical forearms. You don't want to be like this or like this. Vertical forearms, nice and tight. That will create that will give you that tightness so you can bounce and then drive the bar straight up. And you gotta control your knees on this.
Mm-hmm. As a push press, because it's very possible that you're trying to push press. Who knows? Crazy people out there in the world. As a push press, think about shoving your chest through as soon as it clears your head. Whenever people are working on a push press or even just like a snatch lockout or a snatch balance, I'm trying to get them to throw it behind them almost. And the bar may not actually move behind their shoulder, but they're going to move their chest forward, and that's what I actually want. What that's going to do for most people, it's going to help kind of connect your legs to the bar. If you get a good kick with your legs and then just kind of sag backwards again for a double layback, a lot of that energy from the leg is now no longer at the bar, and then you fight for the strict press. So if you are push pressing it, think about, keeping that energy going all the way through, getting your chest up into the bar as well, punching it chest forward. And if you are trying to do like the press, capital letters, the press, then follow Rusty's advice, because that was all very correct.
Yeah, I'm not convinced he's attempting to push press, because generally when I see people push pressing, their hips drop down. They kind of drop straight down and then explode straight up. It looks like he is trying to push his hips forward, but he's misinterpreting that, and his hip and his knees are going forward further than his hips. That kind of tells me that I don't think he's attempting to push press.
And you know what? This could be the press 2.5 or the 2.75.
2.75. I don't know where we're at with that now.
Yeah,
I don't know where we're at now.
This could be a new press.
All right. Thanks, Robert. You've got a nice little view of the bicep on the way out of that video, Alex. I don't know if you saw that, but that was.
Yeah,
I did.
Robert's jacked. There's no doubt about it.
Good work, Robert.
Dude is jacked.
I'm wondering if Robert's in. I saw Manly on his platform. I wonder if he's in Sydney, or he's just he's just a big man. He's just a man. He's just manly.
I think he's just a big man.
Yeah. Someone gave him that platform.
Yeah. Sean Kisser, squat. And we have a question from Sean as well. And I'll read that out while we're watching this. Here's a video. I would like some advice. I'm on week 3 of my starting strength program. This is 185 on my third set of the day. My lower back has been pretty sore over the couple of weeks, but seems to be hurt more when I'm doing normal tasks and doesn't seem to affect me when I'm lifting. I'm going to try and get some video of my deadlift to see if I might have an error in either my squat or if that's causing the issues.
You want to take this one, Alex? Or you want me to?
No, Rusty, you're fine. You got this one.
Okay.
In the bag. Easy peasy.
So the reason, and this is speculative, your back could be hurting because you're really inconsistent in how you're controlling it in the squat. You're trying to keep your chest up and you're trying to take your back out of the squat movement when you need to be bending over a whole lot more. You're keeping your chest up. You're basically doing a high bar squat, and it looks like you're in a low bar position. So you need to start pushing your hips back, controlling your knees. Don't let them push past your toes, and keep sitting back and bend over more than you want to. Getting your back stronger will take away a lot of that back pain unless you suffer from sciatica. I suffer from sciatica, and sometimes it's just the way it is, and you still got to train through it. But as far as your squat, you need to get your hips back and bend over a whole lot more. It's really hard to tell where that bar is actually set because of the plates. I'm assuming it's in a low bar position. So yeah, you need to bend over quite a bit more.
It looks like a high bar position to me. So I think he's trying to do the mystical high bar, low bar, and the inconsistencies are coming from that. And bear with me here, but it sounds like they almost catch it with their lower back, if that makes sense. So rather than turning around with a bounce coming out of like the hamstrings, the adductors, and the quads, rather than getting a bounce out of the hips, which we want, you're just stopping your knees in position, and the bar is just going to shift your torso down like an extra 2 inches that you basically just have to turn around with your lower back. And that's how you initiate the movement, is just by catching it with your lower back and then unfolding it back up into the movement. So I'll see a lot of people who do that just be like, wow, squats are just such a back exercise. And you're like, it looks like one to me for you. It's not supposed to be like that. So I think move the bar down. I think while you're still so new at this, it may be worth it to take some weight on the bar to recalculate where your torso is supposed to be. So like go through the body weight squat progression, film yourself while you're doing it, look at what your back angle's like, get a bar on there, get some plates on there, and then start comparing the two and then see where you end up. But yeah, you're staying way too vertical on these. You got to trust your hips, open everything up, get a few inches, maybe a little bit deeper. That would help you figure out how to use your hips in it. Not optimal for long-term squatting, but maybe just to figure out how to get in there. And I think the stance may be a little bit too narrow too. But I think that could just be from the camera. So
Yeah. Sean, next time you record these, record from a back oblique angle. That will make everything a lot easier on us to be able to see your diagnostics and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and probably get some lifters as well. I think those loafers are probably not real great for.
Yeah. That's that would definitely help. You feel a little bit more secure on your feet for sure.
All right, cool. Send us another video, Sean, when you go through some of that feedback, and we'll take another look at it. Thanks for the video. The Devil Guy squat.
Devil guy.
I'm excited. Oh yeah, we've had him on a few times.
That's fun.
Yep.
That's fun. I like the devil guy.
Yeah.
Alex, you want to start this one?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to ask why your hands are that far out, because it doesn't actually seem like a shoulder flexibility thing to me with the way that they're moving. If you're trying to keep the
You guys got this video up?
Knees are still soft. His knees are still soft, and after that first rep, your feet are moving around. You've got to stay solid. Slow down a little bit. If your knees are shifting all around, that means you're kind of flying down into position, into the bottom of the squat. And then whenever the weight starts getting hard, you start slowing down in the bottom. You need to find a good, consistent speed, especially starting out like this. But you got to control your knees, man. They're still really soft, and they're moving the whole time. You got to stop them and sit your butt back. Use the Tubo. Alex suggested that earlier in the podcast. Get a block of wood, put it in front of you, and touch it, and keep sitting back. Other than that, towards the end of it, you're squatting high too. So you need to find a weight that you're comfortable with being able to get down in the bottom and then driving your hips straight up. You don't want to start squatting high as the set goes on, right?
Rep 4 was my favorite. If you're the best rep out of this was rep 4. So if you're going to try to like pick one to start working off of to replicate, choose that one. Rep 5 was high, and then like reps 1 through 3, you just kind of rush through it. Speed is not your friend when you're learning anything like this. Power clean, snatch, that stuff. Have fun trying to be fast there. Try to be a little bit slower and be a little bit more methodical. So having like an extra second on the descent, it's not going to kill you energy-wise on these. So just be patient with it, be slowed and controlled. And I think, because we saw in your last 2 reps that you can slow it down if you want to. So do that earlier on in the set so you can get a little bit more consistency. It's better to be making the same error every time, so that way you can fix it rather than making 5 different errors because you're trying 5 different pacing strategies, because then you have to fix a lot more things. So slow down, be consistent. And it's really just going to be sitting on your heels, keeping your knees tight in position, eating some food, doing some curls. That's it.
He gets his... Sorry, go ahead, Rusty.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say that you're rushing through those first few reps because you're trying to get the set over. You just got to learn how to stay in the suck for a little bit and realize it's just not going to be fun. And if you're not feeling your hamstrings as you're coming down, then chances are you're just relaxing and dropping to the bottom. Mm-hmm. So you just have to be tighter and move slower, like Alex said.
Yes. So Rusty has confirmed the helpfulness of the mind-muscle connection. So
got it in there.
We have an example
on video.
Mind-muscle connection.
It's on the record for eternity.
There you go.
Here's the thing, Alex. I've never seen anybody do a squat where their mind was disconnected from their muscles. Never seen that.
Work with really athletic people, and they'll just be like insecure about how fast they're moving. They'll be like, "Am I moving 405 fast enough?" Go get into a college room, and you'll just see a bunch of freaks not really understanding how cool they are. Those people, they're disconnected from the weight.
All right. Thanks, Troy. And last video, Ville Sundman from deadlift. Ville's in Finland. Oh, yep, he definitely is. Yeah, that's right. He's squatting so I can tell you right now, where he's squatting in a basement gym. All of the buildings,
I dig it.
all the buildings in Finland have a bomb bunker from the World War II, and then they all put gyms and things and stuff down there. So
that's super cool.
Yeah,
nice.
Not that they had to build them in the first place, but that they're repurposed.
Yeah, so I
is cool.
guess it was worth it after all. Yeah, that's the moral.
We went
of the
through World War
story.
II, and now we have a bunch of gyms.
All we got
So
was
this
this gym.
Memorial Day, and you can remember. Yeah.
Damn. All right, so I'm watching this for the second time. I think your setup is pretty decent. I like it. You're getting nice and tight. I think you could do with squeezing your chest up a little bit harder. The lockouts are a little soft. I think you can think about the bottom of your sternum, squeezing that up, keeping your shoulder blades back and down. Have a little bit more solid of a lockout. But other than that, these aren't too bad. The very last rep, your knees punched forward right before you started driving the bar. You need to be rock solid right before you start the rep. And your feet push straight down. You don't want your knees to rebend at any point. Other than that, these are pretty solid, man. What do you think, Alex?
Think about getting tighter than you need to. Pretend this is 500 pounds. Right now, you're being a little bit lazy about it. You're getting as tight as you need to for each rep for it to move. It's not a good long-term strategy. You're practicing for 500 pounds right now. So this is still like a practice weight for you. So take 10-pound jumps for a hot minute. But get overly tight to it. Everything will slow down a little bit during your setup, and you'll notice more consistency, and you'll likely be able to solve the things that Rusty talked about. If you're still using double overhand, just remember, thinking in the future, maybe a good time to start practicing hook grip now. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Make sure your mind is connected to your muscles before you start pushing the weight. That will help a lot.
Yes, exactly. Yes. That's what squeezing your chest up is, Rusty.
Oh, that's what
We're
it is.
connecting our minds and our muscles.
Oh man, I can't wait to say this to Rip.
When you're bouncing your pecs, flexing your biceps, you are connecting your mind and your muscles.
Ask Rip as well if he's ever heard of Pretty Princess Neck.
Pretty Princess Neck.
I actually used that at the seminar, and it worked.
Oh, okay.
It's funny.
How are you still in SSC?
That was not the cue he got mad at me for. At the Boston seminar, I used the cue proud chest, and he comes over, stands 3 inches from my chest, and he's like, "What the fuck did you just say?" And I was like,
"That's the."
It was in an article. Don't be mad.
We make fun of that one all the time. Proud chest, proud chest. Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't know what to say right now. Proud chest.
Hey, man. I made sure to prime my lifter for the cue in between sets, but I still got put in timeout for it. So it's whatever.
Man, I miss living in Finland. Just going back to Ville, they no one at the gym ever says anything to you. Like normally at a gym, someone will come up and go, "Hey, man, you're going to hurt your back, you're going to hurt your knees squatting like that." Never happens in Finland.
Well, they're super polite people, aren't they?
No, they're just basically, it's a country full of people with Asperger's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So no eye contact. There's no way anyone's ever going to say anything to you ever.
You know what? To me, that is polite.
Yeah,
Don't look
it's
at
heaven.
the eye.
It's heaven.
I wonder how dating works. What's a bar in
alcohol?
Finland?
It's just a lot of alcohol, basically. It's a country full of drunks.
Okay.
It's a nice place to live. Even being a drunk, you can
I could never move to Finland now. It's the antithetical country for me. So.
Well, no one would ever comment on your 20 cents of curls in the squat rack, Alex. So that's all right. That's our last video. So is there anything else you guys wanted to chat about? Any other pressing matters?
No, that's it. If you're still listening, do some conditioning work, and that's it.
Oh, we have another comment. Travis Reed, oh dear, next you blokes will be talking about muscle confusion.
You blokes won't be.
It's a good topic.
If
there's a lot of
3
depth
us,
that you can get to.
There's a percentage of people who's going to be talking about this. I'm not a part of that percentage.
33% of people talk about muscle confusion 100% of the time.
We're gonna start getting some thumbs downs now, I think.
Oh man,
there's still 7 people watching, surprisingly, at this point of the video.
I wish we could have separate thumbs downs for me and Alex and Mick, so we could just tally up. So that's what should happen in the comments from now on. If we do something stupid, just put our name with a thumbs down.
If I tell my mum that, you blokes are both getting thumbs down right now, and I'll be getting thumbs up. Well, all right, fellas. Another fun episode. Thanks for your time.
All right, guys.
Yeah, we'll catch up with you next week.
All right,
All right,
see you,
guys.
boys.
All right, see ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Later.